Hi, this is Travis from Providence Reformed Church, and I have just a little devotional thought for you here. In Matthew chapter 12, Jesus makes a statement that is absolutely gigantic, though I wonder if we get it. Jesus says to some religious opponents who are bothered by the things that he is doing and saying that he, something greater than the temple, has arrived. And in doing so, Jesus has said something amazing about mercy, and he said something amazing about himself. You see, Matthew 12 starts with Jesus' disciples plucking heads of grain on the Sabbath day, and the Jewish teachers looking for a way to accuse Jesus of being wrong by letting them do it. Well, Jesus points out that the Sabbath day and the Sabbath restrictions aren't about us trying to slap people down with rules or be unmerciful. Instead, Jesus points out that the Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath. Of course, we know in the book of Exodus, the Sabbath command reminds us that we take a day off because God rested after creating on 6 days. But in Deuteronomy, the Sabbath command says we take a day off so that we can allow other people to rest too. It's about mercy. And Jesus shows them that they have mishandled the law. But it's so great that we would know that God has mercy in mind with a command that is so significant to his people's faith. But when Jesus said something greater than the temple is there, that's mind-blowing. To the Jewish religious teacher, the temple, that was the place where people went to meet God, to have their sins forgiven, to receive the mercy of God. The temple was the place that God lived among his people. It was huge. It was amazing. The temple was a place where the priest went behind a super sacred curtain to go into this little model of the heavenly throne room with blood to appease God, to bring propitiation for the sins of the people. It was huge. Jesus says, yeah, something bigger's here. Something much better than the temple is here. Because see, the temple is a model, and the sacrifice that the priests made in the Old Testament, they were like IOUs telling God, don't squash this nation yet, because you haven't yet actually finished the mission that you had when you created. You haven't yet fulfilled the eternal covenant of redemption. You haven't yet sent your son to redeem your people. When Jesus says something greater than the temple is here, what he's saying is everything that the temple pointed toward, everything that the temple symbolized, everything that the temple was a miniature picture of, a miniature model of, is actually coming true in him. Jesus said he's the Son of Man who is over the Sabbath because he's the God who made the Sabbath. He's the God who told the people what the temple was supposed to look like. But even greater, he's the one who enters the actual throne room of heaven to make the actual sacrifice that will cover our actual sins so we can have actual peace with God and we can actually enter God's rest, the very thing that the Sabbath is intended to symbolize. If you know Jesus, you should know this. He is gracious. He is loving. He is the fulfillment of all of God's promises, and he is our hope for life, joy, and rest in the Lord. I'm Travis. I hope that encourages your soul.